Greetings of peace and love, everybody. My name is Ra M. Hotep. I'm broadcasting on behalf of 13signastrology.com. I am doing this video today on a very interesting topic, topic of solar biology. I'm going to talk about the topic of solar biology. Now, I'm an astrologer, and a lot of people, they know about astrology. That's a very popular term. But when you start talking about solar biology, you get a lot of people looking at you kind of weird. And a lot of people get confused. And they're like, solar biology, what exactly is that? What exactly is solar biology? So let's start with the words itself. The words solar and the word biology. What exactly does the term solar mean? Solar. Soul. Solar. Soul. Or the sun. Biology. Solar. Biology. Solar biology. Solar biology is the study of the soul incarnating into matter. Now, this is what the ancients called astrology. When you get into studying a lot of the ancient knowledge, you'll see a lot of information that is coded in different metaphysical stories and different characters. But a lot of this information, when you start to dissect it, you'll find out that it is basically documenting the descension of a soul into matter. And this is called solar biology. Solar biology is basically essentially astrology. And a lot of people don't understand solar biology because in astrology, they teach you about your sun sign. And that's it. So most people in astrology, they know about their sun sign, and that's it. They don't know their moon sign. They don't know their Mars position. They don't know their Venus position. They don't know their part of fortune. They don't know their Saturn position. They don't know their sacred geometrical patterns. It's a lot of things that they don't know because they've never got their natal chart. You see, when you get your natal chart, this is getting into solar biology. And at 13 Signs Astrology, we are definitely advocates of solar biology. We call it 13 Signs Astrology because most people resonate with the word astrology. But in actuality, this is solar biology that, you know what I'm saying, that we demonstrate here on the website. Like, say, for instance, if you were to go into your moon placement, this would teach you about your emotional experiences that you will have in this life. Your emotional experiences that you will have in this life. And emotions are very subtle, very underlying. So a lot of people, they think like, well, what does it matter about how my emotions will affect me in this life? I don't really care. Like, how is that going to help me? That can tremendously help you because learning how you respond to your environment on an emotional level will help you to be able to assert yourself into your environment properly. And it will help you to be able to put yourself in the proper situation so that your soul will be able to get certain experiences. So when you start talking about solar biology is a science, but it's a science that a lot of Westerners and even a lot of Western scientists know nothing of because it's a science that deals with the science of the soul. And in Western science, they still haven't acknowledged the soul. They still haven't acknowledged that. They've acknowledged energy, but they haven't acknowledged the fact that we are a soul that can take memories after death with us back to the astral realm. So when you start studying solar biology, you are studying how the information that is located within the rays and the lights of the sun, this information, in essence, is incarnating into a biological entity or a shell or what's called a physical body. So the study of solar biology is the study of the soul in relationship to the body. The soul is what brings the life experiences. The body is just a shell. The soul is what brings your experiences in this life. Everything that happens to you is attracted to you by your soul, predicated upon certain experiences that you need and by your will. by your will and how you use the energies of your soul. Your will is basically how you use the energies of your soul. So things that happen to you are attracted to you either by your soul based upon past life karma and experiences that you needed, or if it's not past life karma, then it's basically you using the will, your will, and making a decision to, which is basically still dealing with the soul, because the soul, you can't use the will unless you use the soul. The will is directly linked into the soul. The will is a part of the soul. So when you use your will, you're using the faculties of your soul to make a decision. You're using the faculties of your soul to make a decision. So when you use your will to say, for instance, you use your will to say, I'm going to go to the store. Now, this could be, going to the store could be something karmic, because it could be something like past life karma, something that you have to do. Like past life karma is like an experience in this life that you're going to experience that's going to help to balance out some type of karma. So going to that store that day may be a past life karmic situation, because you may bump into someone, or you may attract someone that brings you a certain past life karmic experience, or it may just be the exercising of your will. You may decide you're going to go to the store, and it's nothing karmic, it's just free will. You decide that you're going to go to the store. So that's how it works. But all of these things go back to the soul and the study of the soul. You have to understand your soul, and the only way to really understand your soul is to understand solar biology. It's not enough to just know your sun sign. It's not enough. The sun does govern the soul in astrology, and the sun does tell you a lot about the soul in astrology, but you have other components that the soul is a part of. You have the emotional aspect of the soul, which is the moon. You have the thinking aspect of the soul, which is Mercury. You see, your thoughts are even based on past life, your past life blueprint. The way you think is based on your past life blueprint. So you can't understand solar biology unless you have gotten your natal chart done. And you can see that you have all of the signs within you. See, when you study solar biology, the first thing you're going to learn is that you have all of the signs within you. So you are not limited to just one sign. You were put on this plane to master all of the signs within a context of a certain sign. So what I mean by that is this. You are, say for instance, you're a Taurus. You may be a Taurus, that dominates you. Your sun sign may be a Taurus, so that dominates you because that's your sun. The sun is the lead. But you have other components. You have other signs within that. And even though you're a Taurus, you still have all 13 signs within your natal chart. And they play out in different parts of your life. So you have a Taurus life, but you have to still master all the signs as a Taurus in this life. So as a Taurus, you have to walk through the signs as a Taurus. You walk through the signs every year. Year by year, you walk through all 13 signs every single year. Every time you have a solar return or a birthday, you have just completed all 13 signs, which makes a year. And this is important because this is how you get into understanding solar biology. Another thing about solar biology is that it teaches us that at certain times, certain aspects of our soul reveals itself to us and unlocks itself to us. What do I mean by that? At certain times, you have a soul, and at certain ages and at certain time periods, different aspects of your personality unlock. So you're one way right now. You may be 23 years old, right? So you're 23 years old. So you're one way at 23, but at 33, you're going to be another way because of the fact of your soul unlocking itself in phases, in different biological phases, which is, when I say biological phases, I'm talking about the age. The age basically measures the state of the body, or how many solar returns the body has been through. So this is, when you talk about age, you're dealing with the biological entity or the body. And the age works directly with the soul, because the soul will, when the body turns a certain age, the soul will reveal a different aspect of the self to the self. And a lot of people don't understand this, but this is when you get into progressions and progressive astrology. There's something called progressive astrology. And this is an aspect of solar biology that deals with your state on a year-to-year basis. There's something in astrology called the progressive reading, or the progression reading. And the progression reading basically deals with the things that you will experience on a year-to-year basis. You have your natal chart, which is basically talking about the things that you're going to experience in this life, and it's a blueprint of your life. that's dealing with your life as a whole. But then you have a progressive chart, which is dealing with the things that you experience on a year to year basis. And this all goes into the unlocking of the soul and the unfolding of the soul. The soul has to unfold. It has to reveal itself to you in degrees. And this is why, really, if you talk about people talking about they don't want to come back and they don't want to come back to this plane and things like that, when you get into studying solar biology, the only way to guarantee that you won't come back, the only guaranteed way to make sure and to assure that you won't come back is to live for a certain amount of time. You have to be able to live for at least 120 years to assure that you won't come back. And this is why in the ancient days and even in the biblical days, you see that most people live for a long period of time. Because the longer you live, the more you burn out your desires for the physical world. Many people come back to this plane because they die at young ages and they're attracted back here multiple times to get multiple experiences, because they could have experienced all of these things in one life if they had preserved their life and lived a long life. You see, and lived a long life. And the only way to do that is, of course, by eating healthy and things like that. But this goes into understanding the soul, because you want to essentially live a long life so that you could burn out your desires and so that you can reach total fulfillment and unfoldment of your soul, so that you can totally see your being. You want to totally see your being. And the only way to really totally see your being is to get to the point where you unlock your 13th chakra. To get to the point where you unlock your 13th chakra. And it takes 91 years on this plane, minimum. 91 years on this plane to unlock all 13 chakras. You have to spend 91 years here on this plane to do that. And that's important when you understand solar biology. That's important when you understand solar biology, because this will help you to get a full measure or a full experience here on the third dimensional reality, because you came here to this 3D realm to experience. You lowered your vibration. You descended here into a biological entity. You are a soul, solar, and you descended into a biological bio dual, which means more than one. When you're dealing with bio, you're dealing with like a biosphere. Earth is a biosphere because we live in a polarity. We live in a realm of polarity consciousness. Everything is dual. It's always two. Man, woman. You know what I'm saying? Hot, cold. Fire, water. You know what I'm saying? Everything is always dealing with opposites in this realm. But what they don't teach you about this realm is that there's a third path. And they don't teach about the third path here on this realm because many people have lost the knowledge of it. But the third path is to remain in the state of the observer. When you deal with hot and cold, you have warm. You have to remain lukewarm. And the state of the observer is to remain lukewarm. You're not too far to the left or too far to the right. You remain balanced. Ma'at. Ma'at is balance. And the only way to remain balanced is to learn how to balance your biological energies, which is the only way that you can find out about these biological energies is to get your solar biological blueprint, aka your natal chart. Now, I call it the natal chart in 13 signs astrology because I use astrological lingo. But like, again, the priests, they called it solar biology. Solar biology. The natal chart was the blueprint or the guide that helped the priest to, or that instructed the priest on how to initiate the neophyte. This is what the natal chart was all about originally. But, you know, people lose the meanings of things, and over time things are lost. And we've lost the meanings of solar biology. We've lost the meanings of solar biology, and we've gotten into astrology. Now, there are a lot of good books on solar biology. It's a really good book that's written. I forgot the author's name, but it was written in the 20s. And this is one of the books that I refer if you want to get into studying solar biology. I cannot remember the guy's name. I'm sorry. You can Google it. And it was in the 20s. The book was written in the 20s. I know for sure. It was published in the 20s. It's a really old occult book. It's called Solar Biology. And a lot of your modern day, because there's a lot of modern day authors that have written books called Solar Biology, like Dr. York. Dr. York I don't think he actually wrote a book called Solar Biology. He might have. I think it was one of his students, I believe. I think it was Brother Polite, I believe, that wrote a book called Solar Biology. And I know, I think it was another brother too named Brother Heru that wrote a book on solar biology as well. But they're basically dealing, that information comes from out of an older book, an older occult book that came out in the 20s, dealing with solar biology. And that's the one that I refer, because that's the source of the information on solar biology. And from there, you can kind of branch out and see where astrology and things like that came from. All of that came from out of that school. Astrology, see, when people fail to realize, astrology was really something that the elite kept to themselves. Astrology, even to this day, is just now really getting revealed to the public. So it's a secret. It's a really big secret. And in the priesthood, they didn't teach astrology publicly. Like, you had to be rich to get your natal chart done. You had to be a king to get a natal chart done. And like back in the day, the priests only did charts for kings. You had to be a king or rich or a queen or empress or emperor or something to get a natal chart done. You had to be pretty wealthy. So, and the priests knew about solar biology. They studied it in depth. They knew about solar biology, goes into medical astrology. All of your different herbs are ruled by certain astrological planets and certain astrological signs. This was all documented by the priests in ancient Egypt. And many of these writings and many of these findings are being held right now by the Catholic Church. Actually, they're being held right now by the Catholic Church, and some of these documents are being held right now by the Arabs, actually. In Iran, the Iranians are holding a lot of the information by the ancient Egyptians, the Iranian scientists. You see, so it's interesting. When you start to study history, you'll see how things just kind of like cycle around. So that's going to do it on my solar biology video 101, just to give you a brief understanding of it. It's the incarnation and the study of the soul incarnating into physical matter, into biological matter. So I hope this video helped. If you're interested in getting your solar biological natal chart, I do provide astrological or solar biological natal charts on my website, which is 13signsastrology.com. And I do want to say this. People are often amazed when I do natal charts. Some people are often amazed because they're like, wow, how can you read the planets and tell me so much about my personality? And that just goes to tell you how far off we are. Like, really, astrology is like a medical science, really. It's like a medical science. Like, you don't realize how much the energies of the planet, how much the energies of the planets and the sun affects you. People don't realize it. They really affect you, like on a lot of different levels. And when you have certain placements and all of that, you are prone to certain diseases. You have to do certain spiritual work if you have certain placements. So knowing your natal chart is a form of preventive medicine. Now, what I mean by preventive medicine is this: not when you're already sick. When you know your natal chart, it's more about knowing things or knowing tendencies, certain tendencies, so that you can avoid getting sick. So, yeah, you have to know your natal chart. But the energies of the planets really affect us. I mean, they really affect us. On so many subtle levels. So don't take this for granted. Don't take not having a natal chart for granted. You need your natal chart. It is like medical astrology. This is deeper than just like some psychic or something like that. Like, getting into astrology, you're really studying a science. And I'm not saying being a psychic is not a science. I mean, I really respect psychics. I do look at it like a science, actually. Being a psychic is a spiritual science, but what I'm trying to explain is this: like, I'm trying to help mundane people that are probably watching this video right now, and people that are like, you're calling solar biology and you're trying to use all these high-tech terms for something like astrology. Like, it's just astrology. Like, it's not that deep. Like, you're trying to make it deep, and it's not really that deep. And I'm like, yeah, astrology is really that deep. I could take you into a lot of information. Like, you know what I'm saying? When it comes to astrology, like, say, for instance, for those people that take my 13 Signs Astrology course, we go into a lot of deep information. Astrology is the study of your origins, how you got here. Yeah, like how you even pass your physical shell. It's the study of your soul, the science of your soul. And we don't really know and realize it as a science because we've lost the meaning of it. And that's what's going on. But the energies of the planets definitely have an effect over you. And getting your natal chart, don't take this data that's located in your natal chart for granted. Don't take it for granted. These are tendencies and energies that you have. And when you learn about these things, you learn about yourself and how to work with yourself. You're like, okay, this is learning about your past lives and your soul. This is helping you to learn about your soul and how to work with your soul. You see, so studying your natal chart is important. You're studying your energies. You see, so that's important. That's important. I just wanted to point that out. Like, don't take it for granted, beloved. Like, the energies of the planets, like Mercury does affect your thinking. The sun does affect your soul. Venus does affect your partnerships and your love relationships. Mars does affect your energy and how you assert yourself. You see, the Saturn, it does affect your karma. It does affect structure and how you govern yourself. And Jupiter does affect your fortune, your education, and how you expand and travel, and how you expand yourself into the world. You see, so these are just some of the things that we deal with in astrology, and all of these things are important. Understanding your being is important. When you want to understand travel and the importance of travel in your life, and knowing like as to whether or not travel is a part of your karma and helping you to free up different blockages. For some people, traveling is important. Some people have to go places to find themselves. You ever heard someone say, I'm going to go to China to find myself? Or I'm going to go to Australia to find myself. Some people have to find themselves through travel. And some people would never know that unless they tapped into their natal chart. It's in your natal chart. If that's a part of your karma, that's in your natal chart. It's in there. So I'm just kind of like pointing out different things, you know what I'm saying, to help you. If you have tendencies to health problems, it's in your natal chart. You see, if you are a type of person that will have a lot of problems with vehicles and cars, and you have bad karma with cars, like some people feel like they just have bad karma with cars, it's in your natal chart. If you have bad karma with vehicles, you can never seem to get it right. Vehicles always break down on you, or you always have car drama. That's in your natal chart. It's nothing that you cannot tell me in this world that is not in your natal chart. That's what I want to point out here. And I can go on and on and on forever, but I'm not going to waste any more of your time. Thank you guys for watching this video. And for more enlightening information, I ask that you visit my website, 13signsastrology.com. And until we meet again, I'll leave you all in peace.